Welcome back to my channel today. We explore the value of specific coins. The top 3 Monticello Jefferson nickel 5-cent coins. Value in today's market in dollar. So let's get started. First up, the 1983 P Jefferson nickel. But what is its value in today's market? Stick around to find out. The 1983 P Jefferson nickel features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, on the reverse. While it's not one of the rarer or more famous coins in the Jefferson nickel series, the 1983 P still holds some value, especially if it's in good condition. Let's break it down. The 1983 P Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia with a P mint mark, and there were about 600 million of them produced that year, which isn't exactly rare. However, the value of these coins is largely dependent on their condition. So, what determines the value of a 1983 P Jefferson nickel? Like most coins, its grade plays a big role. A coin in good condition, where the details are worn but still visible, is typically worth about 5 to 10 cents. Nothing too exciting here. However, if your 1983 P is in better condition, say uncirculated or even mint state, where the coin looks nearly perfect with sharp details and no signs of wear, the value increases significantly. In mint state, a 1983 P Jefferson nickel could fetch anywhere from $2 to $4 on average, depending on the exact grade. But don't expect to get rich off of this coin. It's not an ultra-rare find. But coins graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC can sometimes command a premium, especially if the coin has been graded at a high level like MS65 or better. In these cases, prices might rise to the $10 to $20 range, but these higher values are less common. Of course, the market can fluctuate based on collector demand, so while a 1983 P Jefferson nickel isn't likely to make you a fortune, if you have one in high-quality condition, it could still be a nice little addition to your collection. If you're holding on to a 1983 P Jefferson nickel in good or better condition, you may have a coin worth a couple of dollars, especially if it's in mint state. Be sure to check the condition of your coins, and, if you're unsure, consider having it professionally graded. Next up, the 1962 Jefferson nickel, but specifically the one without a mint mark. Sounds like just another old nickel, right? Well, it could be more valuable than you think. Let's dive into its worth today and why it's catching collectors' attention. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1962 Jefferson nickel was produced in Philadelphia, which means it has no mint mark. Now, normally, a common circulated nickel from the 60s isn't anything special. So why does this particular coin stand out? Well, while the 1962 nickel may not be a rare coin in the traditional sense, its value can fluctuate based on its condition. But today, we're focusing on the value of a normal, dirty 1962 Jefferson nickel, which is what most of us probably have. You know, that old nickel you find at the bottom of your coin jar, worn down and maybe even a little grimy. In today's market, a 1962 nickel, without a mint mark in average, circulated condition typically ranges from about 5 to 10 cents. That's not much, right? But here's the catch. Coins like this are still valued by collectors because they represent the era of post-World War II nickel production. Now, if your 1962 Jefferson nickel is in exceptional condition, meaning it's uncirculated or has a high grade, the value can jump significantly. But for those of us dealing with coins that have seen years of pocket time, don't expect a windfall. In fact, a 1962 Jefferson nickel in normal dirty condition, without any fancy mint errors or rare traits, usually hovers around that 5 to 10 cent range. Now, in contrast, a high-grade, example, something that's well preserved and has that shiny, almost new appearance, can sell for a few dollars, especially if it's graded higher, by professional services like PCGS or NGC. So, what should you do if you think you've got a valuable 1962 nickel? Here's a tip. Check the condition. If it's well worn and dirty, it's probably just worth a few cents. But if it looks nearly perfect, or you think there might be a minting error or something unusual about it, it might be worth having it appraised by a professional. A small investment in grading could turn that nickel into a nice little surprise. One thing to note, don't clean your coins too harshly. Cleaning can actually reduce their value, so leave that to the pros if you think your coin might be a rare find. In summary, a 1962 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in dirty, circulated condition is worth about 5 to 10 cents today. But keep an eye out. Some coins from this era are surprisingly valuable if they're in great shape or have something rare going on. If you're lucky, you might just have a hidden gem on your hands. Next up, the 1971 Monticello Jefferson nickel, specifically the one with the D mint mark, in extra fine condition. You might be thinking, it's just another nickel, right? Well, not so fast. This little coin might just be worth more than you expect. So, let's dive into its value in today's market. First off, let's talk about the 1971 Jefferson nickel. It features the iconic Monticello building on the reverse, and it was minted in Denver, which is where the D mint mark comes in. But what makes the 1971 D nickel stand out, and why is its value more than just face value? Now, when we talk about value, condition is everything, and that's where extra fine comes into play. So, what does extra fine mean? It refers to coins that have only minor wear. The details on the coin are still sharp, especially on Jefferson's portrait and Monticello's architecture. You'll notice that the lettering is still clear, and the coin has a nice overall look, though it might show some slight wear from circulation. In extra fine condition, a 1971 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark is definitely worth more than its 5-cent face value. So, what's the price? Well, in today's market, you can expect it to fetch around $1 to $2, depending on factors like overall demand and how well preserved the coin is. Now, don't get too excited. This isn't going to make you a millionaire. But if you're a collector, those extra dollars can add up over time, especially if you're working on completing a set of high-quality coins. To put things into perspective, a 1971 D Jefferson nickel in well-worn, circulated condition might only be worth about 10 to 20 cents. So, having one in extra fine condition really boosts its value. And the key here is how much wear the coin has. The less wear, the higher the price. Another thing to keep in mind is that the value can increase if the coin is graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade coin in a protective holder could sell for a little more, as collectors are often willing to pay a premium for coins that are certified as being in excellent condition. So, in summary, the 1971 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in extra fine condition is generally worth around $1 to $2 in today's market. If you happen to have one of these in your collection or find one in your change, it's a nice little find. But if it's in pristine condition and gets professionally graded, the value could go up even more. Want more tips on how to spot valuable coins in your collection? Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future videos. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a 1971 D Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more CoinScot collecting content. See you next time. Happy collecting!